All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a series on Lego ideas. And this time we're going to be building a character. Found a couple pictures of some characters. She's obviously got a lot more going on with collars and hair and stuff, and colors and things. Just things we can do with that. But we're going to use this guy as a basic idea of how to build this. If you remember, our part here is 0.5 that way. It is the circle. So you have a 0.5 square base with a 0.25 circle in the middle of it that is extruded to 1.25, an eighth of an inch up. So way bigger than an actual Lego piece would be, but that's okay. And then to get my character picture in here, what I did is I saved the picture of these guys, and then I imported by creating a sketch on a new part studio and importing this in. And then I didn't need the part studio anymore once the picture's in there as part of the things on my tab. And I just deleted the part studio. So that's how to get a picture in that you want to reference, and you can kind of go back and forth with. So what we're going to do here is called bottom up technique for building. Okay. So we're going to do this. You could do it in assemblies or you could do it in a part studio. It's kind of up to you, but I think I'm going to do it in a part studio, making separate parts, and then I'll assemble them later. You could do both because things kind of relate to each other, right? So I'm not going to try and build a leg and then a body and then an arm and then so we're going to do it all in one place. Now I'm going to build from the bottom up, but that doesn't mean that that you're always bottom up means that you're going from the bottom up. It means that you are building based on other features as you go, right? So that's how I'm going to work this. Now I am going to start with the leg because I think that shape will dictate this shape, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to make it an inch, and then I think I'll make the legs about an inch or maybe slightly more than an inch high. So that is where we start. Now the pictures are here to give me a good idea of size, because that does, you have to make things fit, right? So I'm going to make those an inch apart with that 2-inch or with the 1/4-inch circles in there. And then we'll cut away a little bit in the middle to make room for the body part. All right, so here we go. Let's get started, shall we? Make a new part studio. Okay, now I'm going to kind of flip back and forth from this to my character's part. And this time I'm not going to use my base piece because I'm going to kind of figure that out anyway. So I think I will start on the right so that he's facing to the front. So we'll sketch in the right side view. View normal to sketch plane as always. And I am going to hide all these other planes. And we'll start with the origin there. Now, I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and import that pick. Let's draw a line that's about okay. I just need a sense of about how tall he's going to be. About, there's the 3.5-ish, right? So I can get the picture sort of out of my way. I'm going to go ahead and insert that image in there and put it up here so that I can look at it when I need to. And get a sense of what I'm doing here. So let's get rid of this. All right, that way I've got it in one place. Plus I can kind of see what's going on here, and I can move this if I need to. All right. So it looks to me like that's about, I don't know, maybe 3/8 of an inch up, but let's start with just this basic up and back. Okay, so we'll start with our 1/2 inch line on the bottom that's going to represent his foot. And again, I'm going to come up. Now there is a little arc that goes out of here. So I think I'll go up. Now I'll just worry about distances later. We'll go up about an inch. So again, I want to see what I'm doing here. So I'll probably make you guys a little smaller and bring you down here so I can see a little better. There we go. So we can always move that picture out of the way. Now, based on that, I'm just going to basically eyeball it. Now, normally we want to make things, again, to a certain size. I'm not sure why my mouse is suddenly being weird. Let's try that again. I'm having issues with my mouse and the line command. Oh, perfect time for my... All right. In that moment right there where I couldn't figure out what was going on, my internet went out for several hours. So I'm back. I don't really remember where we were except working on this leg, and I couldn't get things to go right. So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and make this toe part. It needs to be more than 0.125. So maybe I'll make it 0.15 high for that toe part there. And okay. And I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. I think that's going to be a little bigger. Let's try 0.2. Yeah, that's a little more like it. And then it's got this kind of circle-y part that comes out over here. So let's do that. Now I'm going to make it, I think it starts curving around the back, but it sticks out of the front. So let's make, this tangent to that line. All right. And then coincident constraint between this and that. Oh, I didn't want it to move that way. I wanted to move this way. And then we'll make the circle a little smaller. We got to do a horizontal constraint now between that point and that point. There we go. That looks about right. Maybe if we move this guy down just a little bit, trim out the, see if I can get it to look. I need it to move down a little bit. Yeah, that looks about right. I'm gonna see if I can dimension. I don't know if I can go from the top of this circle down to the bottom. Nope, it's going to do the, well, let's see what happens. Well, that's interesting. I don't want it necessarily aligned like that. So I'm going to make a point up here and vertically align it. This and that. All right. And now we'll do a dimension from that point to that point. All right. I was thinking 1 1/8, 1.125. Okay, that looks about right. Maybe I can make the circle a little bigger. Let's see if I can. Yeah. So if I look at this, if I look at this part, it looks like this is about even with his toe. Okay, or maybe even sticking out a little bit more. So I think that's about, something like that's about right. All right, cool. So we've got the basic leg piece. Again, I'm using this as a bottom-up strategy that I'm using this to start off with. So finish my sketch, extrude. Now, I'm not going to go quite, I think I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch. We're going to see how that looks. Because this looks like it's maybe 1/8 inch gap, which means I'm going to need to go 7/16, well, a little bit less. So, okay. So extrude this guy. Let's go the other direction just because that's the way I'm thinking. And it's going to be 7/16 of an inch. Okay. Now, cool. All right. So there's our leg. Now I'm going to make a plane that is 1/16 inch away from this thing. So go to plane. I'm going to offset from there 1/16. Okay. Now this is going to be the space between those legs. It's going to be a little bigger, I think, than what the picture shows, but I'm not trying to make it absolutely perfect. I'm just doing the best I can to mimic it. All right, cool. Now we need to do a little peg that's going to swivel. Now in the real world, that peg would probably have a lip on it that snaps in, but baby steps, right? This is our first major project, so let's do little bits at a time. I'm going to make that circle. It's in the middle of that, and it's going to be 0.125. And make it 1/8 of an inch. No, let's make that 0.25. Make it 1/4 of an inch, same as the other things. And we're going to extrude this outward, and we're going to do that the same as to this. Now, because I might adjust it later, I want it to go to the plane and not just a distance, because if I adjust the plane, it'll adjust the size. So I'm going to go up to face, and we'll choose that face. All right, cool. Now we can mirror that to the other side. I'm going to make a new part. So we are going to do a part mirror. And I'm going to mirror part 1. My mirror plane will be the plane. Okay, and good deal. We should have made, it still only made part 1. No, I wanted to make a new part. So let's go back to this mirror and say I want new. All right, so now I have part 1 and part 2. Good deal, because when I assemble these, I want them to be able to move independently of each other. All right, now we're going to put the little hole on the bottom. So if you'll recall, I should have done that in the first place. Okay, in fact, I'm going to delete the mirror. And let's put that in now. I told you at the beginning of the video, I wasn't sure how this was going to go. So we're going to go here, and I'm going to make my 0.25 that's lined up that way. And then I want it to be dimensioned 0.25 from the outside edge, because remember we made the leg not quite that small, so it's okay that it's on the inside because the center is really here. All right, cool. And then we're going to extrude this and remove it a total of 0.125. And check. Cool. So that would then snap down onto, if we wanted to put this character onto the base. All right, now we can mirror that stuff. So I would like to mirror, make a new part. We're going to mirror part 1 across the plane. All right, now we've got our parts. Cool. All right. Now, I'm going to build this little part, I think, that is this piece that's separate. And it also comes down here and has where those legs go in and swivel. So I'm going to make it the inch wide, and then we'll worry about how we project it. So let's go back here. I'm going to sketch onto that plane, and let's make our part. We're going to have to, okay, I'm going to make it horizontal right now. That's tangent. Let's make sure it's horizontal. There we go. I'm going to adjust the size in just a moment. And okay, I'm going to offset this arc just a little tiny bit. There we go. And then let's look at this again to see if that's kind of centered. It looks like it's centered over the middle of this, or maybe he's over forward a little bit. Maybe he's centered over the center point of the circle. So let's do a horizontal constraint, or sorry, vertical constraint between the midpoint of this line. Again, I wish that would show up. I'm going to have to put a point on the midpoint of the line. There we go. And now do a vertical constraint to line those two guys up. All right. And now we can, let's make our rectangle here. I'm making it approximately the size that I think it is in there. And now we're going to trim out what I don't want to extrude, which is that. Let's trim out this, trim out that, trim out that. There we go. So now I get my part here. Again, let's look back at here to see if that works out. It's not quite to the toe, it looks like, and it probably overhangs the back just a little bit. We can kind of tell over here how much it's overhanging the back. So I think that that's just a little bit, that's more like it. Okay, I like that. Let's make it just a little bit thinner. All right, and then we're going to extrude this. And again, we're making a new part. It's going to be 1 inch because it's 1 inch from one side to the other. And I think we look good. All right. So now we've got that little base piece. All right. Now let's talk about the body, which is trapezoidal. You look at another part straight on to kind of get a good idea of what that angle is. Let's go ahead and sketch, and I'm going to sketch on this surface right here. Does it stick out a little bit over that? It might stick out just a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new plane. No, I'm not going to sketch on that. I'm going to make a new plane that is offset from that guy just a little tiny bit. Like, let's make it 0.005. Let's see how that looks. Enter to preview. That's hardly anything. Let's try 0.002 and see how that looks. Okay, so that's over just a bit. I like that. And that looks good. So we're going to sketch on this plane, view normal. And now I am going to make my trapezoid. Now I'm going to, let's project that little dot right there. And I'll explain why in just a moment. So I'm going to make my base. It's going to be hanging over just a little bit. Okay, we're going to approximate it. Now, if I horizontally constrain, again, I need points. I need the midpoint of that line and the midpoint of this line. I'm going to vertically, I keep saying horizontal, I mean vertical, constrain those. And that way I know that this is equal now because these were constraint, and I'm going to now do a coincident constraint to snap that to that. There we go. Looks about right. Yeah, I think it's about right. So we can adjust it later by going back to the sketch. So now I'm going to extrude that guy. And if I remember correctly, we were 0.02 over on each side. So now the total extrusion would be 1.04. 1.004? 1.004? Oh, that's not an inch. Okay, let's see how long that is. Oops. I keep messing up here. What I do is turn that off so I can get down here and measure how long that is. So 0.632 plus 0.04, I think, is what we want to do. So I'm going to go back to this extrude. And we're going to make it 0.632 plus 0.04. I think it was 0.02. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, there we go. All right. And now we've got our part. Now this exists as part of that, and that's okay. So there is our body. And the next thing we're going to do is to build the head. So there's going to be a peg that's going to stick off of this. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, bring myself back so I can talk to you. All right, we're going to sketch on this surface. And the way to put that in the center is I'm going to have a circle that I'm going to line up with that edge and that edge. There we go. And that is going to be a 0.25 circle. And like the others, we will extrude that to 1.25 or 0.125. I'm sorry. All right. And now we can start working on the head. All right, now this is going to be tricky because we're going to need a plane because I'm going to do a revolve. So let's do this and put a plane right in the middle of those. I'm going to turn off some of the other planes because things are starting to get a little crowded here. Plane 1, where's plane 2? There it is. Turn that off. I'm going to create another mid plane. Not an offset plane, but a mid plane between this surface and that surface. And that is what I'm going to sketch on. So I'm going to start a new sketch on there. And I think I'm going to see if I can section view it up to that point. Good. All right. I can turn that off later. View normal. And now I can work on the head part. So good sense of this. The head comes out close to the shoulders, maybe not quite that far. Okay, we're going to see how this goes. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make just a cylinder, and then I will fillet that later. So I can adjust things if I do a revolve a little bit better. So we'll start by going with a line. Now I'm going to have to use some things. I'm going to project that. Oh, I'm not sure why it won't project that edge. I can project this edge though. So I can line things up. So I can come over here, come up to there. Now I want to come to the midpoint of that line because this line is going to represent what I'm going to go around. Let's go up here a bit. Again, I can adjust this later. Now, I want there to be another peg on the top, but I want this one to be smaller because if you look at his head, he's got a little bit smaller point. Actually, I'm going to go 0.125 on this, which is the radius of a 0.25. Uh-oh. Not sure why I didn't like that. Maybe I'm going to have to undo. So I wonder if this is lined up with that. Maybe I could make a vertical constraint. Line up this point with that point. Okay. Come down 0.125. And then we're going to come out. Now again, I'm going to fillet those guys later. All right. Now I think his head's probably going to be a little bit big, or it maybe is going to be a little short. Let's pull this up just a little bit. All right. And now notice this is not a profile right now. So I need to make sure that that is part of the profile. I'm going to draw a line from there down to lined up with that and then over to here. There, that's part of the profile. Trim that out. And now his neck is bigger than the top part. So, I think that there needs to be a hole in there. Okay. So I need to drag that over. Yeah, I've got a constraint that I need to get rid of. My dog's barking in the background. Great. All right, I need to find, there's a perpendicular. There it is. I need to get, oh no, that's a vertical. There it is. I need to get rid of that. Delete sketch entity. Good. Now I can take this and move it. All right, I think I'll put a hole in there later. So that's fine for now. So I can come back to this sketch and edit it if I want. All right, cool. So we're going to finish that. Now we're going to revolve this shape around that middle axis. Oh, that's looking pretty good. All right. Now, I wanted a new part. So new part. All right, cool. And I'll turn off my section view. Well, that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. All right, let's fill it now. The edges. Oh, that is too much. Let's try 0.1. See how that looks. That's a little more like it. Maybe 0.1. Let's try 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125. And the other one too. And all right, that's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. We'll have to deal with faces and that sort of thing later, but that definitely looks like the body of our part, just because it's not blue. Let's see. All right, let's go to edit appearance and make him in like that weird yellow color that a lot of those guys are. All right, cool. So this is the body. I think I'll make another video for how to deal with the arms because that's going to be kind of crazy and extensive. Oh, we need to make the bottom part. I kind of didn't realize that we need to modify this piece down here and make another part that's connected to that piece. So yeah, we're going to need to do that. All right, let's go back to this piece. Where did we make that guy? And extrude 4 and sketch 4. And I think I'm going to come back. I'm going to come up here. Whoops. I'm going to take the bottom of my part, come up here to here. There we go. Now I'm going to work from here, and then I'm going to roll the bar back. Now I know I'm not going to jack anything else up from the point there because I already have this. I'm also going to turn off part 1, which again, that was supposed to be 2 separate parts. Let me, in fact, go back and find where this mirror was. Yeah, I didn't want to add. I wanted to make it new. All right. Cool. Then we have part 1, part 2, part 3. I'm turn off the visibility of these, or at least of one of them. There we go. And I am going to, again, work from a mid-plane. So I'm going to work from mid-plane, plane 1, make a new sketch on that plane. And now I want to use this surface. Cool. There we go. Now that is on that plane. And I also want to use this surface because we're going to use that. And okay, so I think that part, did it come down from the, no, it's kind of connected up in there. So, okay, in order to make this part of this thing, I need to make sure that, I think what I'll do is this. I think I will draw a couple lines from here to here, and the same thing from here to here, and then we'll draw that circle that they're going to rotate around on, there to there. All right. And I'm going to trim out this guy right here. So I have what I think is my profile. Okay. Finish that sketch. We're going to extrude. Now, this time I don't want it new. I want it to add to what it's touching. It shouldn't add to this guy. And we're going to go symmetric. That means it's going to go 2 directions at one time. And remember, it was a 1/16 of an inch. Now, I don't know whether it goes a 1/16 each way or a total of a 1/16. We're about to find out. So we're going to say I want that guy and that little bit right up in here. There we go. Good deal. And right now, nope, it needs to be a total of 1/8 of an inch, 0.125. Yeah, that's what I want to have happen. Now, it added it to that. I didn't want it to add it to that. I wanted to add it to this. Let's go back here and say, oh, merge scope is with part 1. No, merge scope is with part 3. Oh, that's cool. That's something I just learned. There we go. All right. Now, the one thing I should have done that I didn't do is let's go back to this. And actually, I'm going to have to delete it because I forgot the hole. So let's go back to sketch 8. And I did forget that we need to use that. All right. Now, let's try this again. I'm going to extrude. I'm going to extrude that shape and that little shape up here. There we go. Come on. Ah, missed it. Okay, let's try that again. Extrude. This time I'll start with that shape up there. There we go. That one. And I need this one. and we're going to do it as symmetric, and we're going to go 0.125. And I want it to be added. My merge scope will be with that. Fantastic. All right. And now I can turn back on the visibility of the other part, and I can drag my end of my part down, and then hopefully, and you got to be careful with that stuff. I knew it wasn't, nothing up here was dependent on this part down here. All right. Cool. All right. So that's enough for that guy. We will work on the arms and possibly try and put a face in. Hair and stuff, that's crazy. Maybe a helmet, but trying to do hair is going to be a tough one. All right, enjoy. Hope this works out for you. See you with the one with the arms.